Hello and welcome back to our massive, mammoth, no such thing as a fish live marathon in aid of comic relief. We have been going for 11 facts now. We've got another fact on our way, and boy, are we excited about our next guest. I mean, truly excited. This is one of the greatest comedy legends around. We're gonna have such a fun time talking to him. You know him. You know his voice. He's half the voices of Springfield, really. You know, Ned Flanders, Mr. Burns, Reverend Lovejoy, Principal Skinner. I mean, he is brilliant. But on top of that, he is, of course, one of the members of one of the greatest metal bands of all time, Spinal Tap. It is Derek Smalls himself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to No Such Thing as a Fish. It is Harry Shearer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. No, please hold your applause. You're going to need it for later.
Thank you so much for being here. And why don't we kick in straight into your fact? So what's your fact for us?
Well, I guess it's a fact that, you know, I'm one of those people who thinks there's no justice in the world. And then I ran into this fact. Imagine you're ready to come out the door into the world. You're in the wings, ready to make your entrance. You get told you're going to be a sea slug. Okay? But you get to regenerate every part of your body whenever you need to. That's the fact. Sea slugs can regenerate any part of their body. It's almost worth putting up with being a sea slug. It's better than that, though, because that's not all they get to do. I've been reading a little bit about sea slugs for the first time in my life, I might say. Somehow I've been too busy to read about sea slugs till now. But, you know, COVID has lasted long enough. It's got me down to the sea slugs. They can eat the toxic or poisonous protuberances of other creatures, absorb them into their body, and use them against other enemies.
Whoa.
Very cool.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be that?
Well, I mean, you're still a sea slug. It all just feels like consolation prize after consolation prize for the guy who was given sea slug.
Yeah,
it's true. You don't you can't regenerate into a goat or into another animal, can you?
No.
Can we not mention goats again for a while, please?
Sorry, Harry.
Is it full regeneration, or presumably a bit of you has to stay? Is it like your head stays the same age, and then you got a young body underneath you? Is that how it works?
I didn't see whether they counted the rings or how they know how old a sea slug is or any part of it, but yeah, that's a good question, and I'm going to have to go see Dr. Sea Slug as soon as
I would assume you could decapitate yourself and regrow your body downwards from your head, and then decapitate yourself again and grow your head back up from your body.
No way, really?
No, I've no idea, Dan. But I would assume that is a total refresh.
And you would be doing that with hands that came from where?
Yeah,
we've seen
about
the
building it.
No, he was talking about decapitating. And
yeah.
I don't know how they decapitate themselves.
Because you know the old Only Fools and Horses, the shove. What is it, James?
Trigger's broom.
Trigger's broom. Where he's had the same broom, but he's replaced every bit. Is it kind of like that? There's a sea slug, Trigger's broom.
I think sadly it has to keep the same head, right?
Okay.
It can replace
where the brain is.
But where the brain is. But
you're referring to the sea slug's brain now, right?
The sea slug's brain in its
not
head.
A lot of brain. Yeah. Here it is, right here. And it's not the only. You probably know this. It's not the only creature that has that gift. Alligators can regenerate. There are others, but they're all lower order creatures. I don't think any mammals got this, or let alone primates. So somewhere along the evolutionary line, we fucked up big time.
Can't we do it as kids? Isn't there a thing where if you lose your fingers as kids, your finger?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's not a full finger, sadly, but it's the tip of a finger. As long as you've got a little bit of the nail left, and I think the nail is what contains. What kind of cells is it?
Stem cells.
Stem cells. I think it is. Yeah, stem cells, and that's pretty cool.
Waiters can grow a new tip as well. So,
Andy, can't you regrow your liver? Was that not a thing?
yes,
Specifically, Andy?
Yes, you're right.
I know that Andy knows this fact. That's it.
yeah.
No, but it's just me. I can do it. But I'm so clean living that I've never needed to put it to the test yet. No, you're right.
The people who drink themselves to death never think of it.
Yes. No, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wait a
that's
minute.
why
I can fix this. I can grow a new one.
I think, is there not a thing, Andy, where you can, I know I'm asking you because I think you're the head of liver research at QI, but you can take the liver of a small dog and put it in a big dog and it will grow to the right size.
You're absolutely right. That is exactly what happens.
And what happens if you put the liver of a big dog in a small dog?
It feels terrible. It feels so uncomfortable.
Get me out of here!
I think we can lose half of our livers, I think, humans, or 51% maybe. 51-49, and much like other things in our lives, I can't remember which side it lands on, but it's either we can lose 51% or you have to keep 51% for it to regenerate. But it's not.
I'm not letting you do the operation, Anna, if you're not sure.
Doctor, which is it? Let me look. I started thinking about what if we had that gift that sea slugs have, though. And the first thought is, God, that would be wonderful if you break a leg or, you know. And the second thought is, and we think plastic surgeons are bad now. Just wait till they get to. How would you like your new leg to look?
Like the other one, please?
Yeah.
You
you wouldn't ask for a longer leg, would you, necessarily?
You wouldn't. But, a slimmer leg. And then of course, they do the other one to match. So, you get regeneration on order.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could regenerate into famous celebrities' bodies.
Oh, yeah. Well, but
I could order the Harry Shearer at any time.
I thought you said famous. We've already got deep fake, so you don't.
Yes.
You don't even need the plastic surgeon.
No,
you would. You definitely go for Nadal's arms, wouldn't you? I'm trying to think of what bit you would go for.
I think you go for Nadal's left arm, but you don't want that wonkiness left to right that he's got going on.
I would go for Michael Jordan's legs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you lot have ever noticed basketball players' legs. They're weirdly slim, and by slim I mean pipe cleaner slim. You look at these really muscular bodies on top, and from the waist down, they're impossibly narrow and slim, and you think they can't stand on that, And
it reminds me of that article we read about hockey players that they can't buy jeans that fit because their bottoms are so muscular because they're obviously doing lots of movement with the lower body.
Yeah.
And I could only figure out that somehow the thinness of the calves is linked to jumping, because you see people like me. Let's put too fine a point on it. Jewish men on the basketball court, and we've got these fat calves, and we can't get half an inch into the air. So there's something to do with that.
Really interesting. There was a high jumper, a Barbados high jumper, who broke all the records a few years ago, and they thought the difference with him is his Achilles tendon was about 2 inches longer than everyone else's.
Well, yeah.
So
very cool.
Which you don't really want, because that makes it even more prone to breakage.
Yes.
It makes it more vulnerable. Yeah.
Oh, I was reading something that our feet. I'm going to get this wrong because it's off memory now, but our feet
51-49.
That's it. It's that they're the perfect size for running, but it's all an awkward trade-off, because really you'd want for stability to have much longer toes, but that's going to make running a complete pain. It's like running in flippers.
Yes.
And so it's this whole evolutionary race since we came down from trees and started walking around on land. And
do we know how long Neanderthals' toes were?
No.
I think some people know, but we don't.
Yeah, right. Not we.
No one's ever checked.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
We've got an anthropologist coming on later in the show, Harry. I'll ask her that and then email you the answer.
Yeah. I mean, it should be easy to check. I'm sure we have. I'm sure they found Neanderthal shoes by now.
Yeah.
I think they must be smaller, a bit smaller.
You think? Is that why they failed?
That's why they failed. Yeah.
Or is it just that we bludgeoned them to shit to death?
Wow.
Yeah.
Bit of both.
That was a scary revelation. I remember reading *Sapiens* and the idea that when you see that origin of man, the evolution of man, and I thought, always in my head, that was us changing and growing into the final human. I didn't realize we were all alive at the same time at one point on Earth.
Yes.
And we won.
Well, but to be a completist about it, we screwed them and then we killed them.
Yeah.
That's how we have Neanderthal DNA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is nice. We kept a little bit of them. We kept the kernel of them alive, and I think they appreciate it.
A lovely memento of our Neanderthal friends.
If they could regrow bits of themselves, they might have been able to.
Maybe they could regrow their entire heads or something. And actually,
maybe the problem was that all they could regrow on themselves was sea slugs.
That's where they've gone.
I really, because that thing about you mentioned, was it Harry? I think you said that alligators can do it. Alligators can regrow, bits of tail and things like that. Mm-hmm. So there is a belief, because obviously this hasn't made its way over in most cases into mammals, that some dinosaurs would have had the ability to regrow new limbs. Because obviously, that's such a fun idea, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're useless anyway, aren't they? Those Tyrannosaurus.
Well, that's true. But for the next Jurassic Park film, that'll be a very exciting moment. Like, it's okay, we chopped its leg off, we've got away from it, and then bang.
But it didn't protect them from the asteroid, did it?
No.
There's only so many limbs you can regrow, and then no number is enough to save you, buddy. Yeah. So octopuses are very good at regrowing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, yes.
Stuff. Octopuses' arms, very strong. And octopuses actually have this amazing thing where their arms, if they come off, which they sometimes do, they get tacked, or in experiments by scientists. If an arm comes off, it will keep picking up food and trying to put it in the place where the octopus's mouth was.
Astonishing.
Amazing.
It thinks it's there. The poor thing, it just drops the food behind it. And then I guess turns around and wonders what the food's doing there.
That's the phantom mouth.
It's a phantom mouth,
Yeah. How do we all stand on eating octopus at this point in time?
I feel a bit queasy about it, just because they're so clever. They're so clever. Yeah.
But you could eat a discarded arm, right?
Yeah.
That's what the ethical octopus eating is. Eat the arms that they've chucked away.
Well, you could get a whole plate of it, and it could feed you the arms itself, which is quite nice.
In the octopus restaurant, where the octopus is the chef, he doesn't accidentally, he just chops off a limb and sends it out.
Yeah.
Oh no!
There's your cutlery. Yeah.
This is from me, literally.
I found it really cool, just on sea slugs for a second. There's lots of different species of sea slugs. There's one that is the California black hair sea slug. It's giant. It's the size of a cat, basically. That's how big it could be. Yeah, it's huge. I've seen photos of these giant slugs you see in these shots. But there's also a really fun one called the Spanish dancer. And it can grow up to 40 centimeters in length, and it's brightly colored. And basically, its defense is that it curls and undulates, and it looks like it's doing a flamenco move whenever it's trying to escape predators. And so, because it's so colorful, it's
wait a minute, but the predators don't know what a flamenco is. So why does that help?
Well, imagine seeing flamenco for the first time. What the hell's this?
I was scared.
I remember, actually, the first time I saw flamenco, because it was about 2 years ago. The first time I actually saw a flamenco dancer live, and I was mesmerized. I did stay for about 10 minutes. So there is something in this.
10 minutes.
10 minutes? What was it? A sort of like full hour-and-a-half long show?
No, it was just a guy in the street, but I was in Seville. It was so exciting.
Wait a minute. You had us all excited until you said it was a guy.
Yeah, but what a guy.
Guys,
my goodness.
What a guy.
His legs, like pipe cleaners they were.
Yeah.
But,
like Michael Jordan.
No, because when you say flamenco dancer, I have a friend whose mom was a famous flamenco dancer, and you just naturally, I think of.
Yeah. This guy was just sort of busking. Anyway, I shouldn't go into reveries about it. I've got a photo. I'll put it up online.
You guys can swap flamenco photos after this. That sounds nice. But
anyway, I just wanted to tie up my end of the sea slug thing. Not to tie up a sea slug, but I mean, I had partly because of the name. I mean, there are creatures that get renamed only for commercial purposes. Otherwise there's no reason to rename them. But the Patagonian toothfish became Chilean sea bass, so that people would buy the fish in a shop. But I think the sea slug suffers from bad naming, and so I thought ill of it. I just thought it's some dirty, awful looking thing. And I read this information, and I thought, gee, in a half an hour, I've totally changed my prejudice against a sea slug. And then I thought, now if I can do that in half an hour, can't the royal family? Well, anyway.
The sea slug, it has a bad name as a whole animal, but the individual species have got quite good names. So, the white spotted sea goddess, the blue angel, the shaggy mouse is not so good. The wet lemon is not so good.
The wet lemon.
Wet lemon.
Hunchback Doris, not not so good. But some of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's better than just plain slug, isn't it? I do think once you have been dealt the slug card at the start, then you're really crossing your fingers for sea slug, because they are stunning. They're so colourful. You get ones that sort of look like beautiful autumn leaves all spreading out. They're sort of iridescent. So it's either that or slug. You definitely go for sea slug.
What depth do they live at? Do you know? Anybody know?
Oh, don't know.
I don't know. Same. What do they live with? We know they live with Portuguese men of war.
Oh,
do we know?
Portuguese men of war tend to live near the surface, don't they? Because that's how we saw them. Because they look like the Portuguese ships that go past. They have like a sail. So
that is one of the creatures that the sea slug can take the poison part of and consume.
Cool.
And assemble it into its own being, its own corpus.
The great thing is
better. I think it's more deadly. It uses it more effectively than Mr. Portugal himself, which
pretty clever for a slug. Yeah.
The great thing is, Harry, that when we do this kind of show, we have people watching this who will be world experts in sea slugs, and we can guarantee they will let us know if we have any questions. We'll get them.
Yeah,
excellent.
Well, there's a thing they can. This is another scientific thing.
Sorry, we did just get one thing, Andy, from one of our listeners. They say deep. So there you go.
Very helpful.
World experts.
Follow-up message from another expert. Shallow. So just to.
So both.
Great. There are also 300.
Schools.
Yeah, there are a lot of species. They could live at all different. There are 3,000 species, aren't there, or something?
No, what that is that's one very, very tall sea slug scientist, and one very, very short one, and they just disagree massively on what the definition of deep or shallow is. That's all it is.
That comment was deep.
Thank you. They do a census every year along the Australian coast, which I love.
The sea slugs. They're very intelligent, aren't they?
Census, yeah.
Oh, they do a census. Okay.
Do they come back as a different person? They just chop their body off. This is a new person.
They're doing well, right? They're doing okay compared to other species in the deep.
Oh, I don't actually know, but I know that the one thing that's useful about the census is that it helps them record environmental changes, because they will shift their territory depending on the temperature of the water and things like this. So, yeah.
Do they get, and so how is it done? Because we've got a census this year. Is it like ours? They get it posted through their door, and they have to tell their religion.
Well, it's a form printed in waterproof ink. We know that.
Yeah.
But
the really most amazing thing about sea slugs, I think, is the fact that they're kind of solar powered. Some of them. This is just insane. Like, I had a friend who really got annoyed when you said that you could have something that was half animal and half plant. For some reason, he would just get really, really annoyed about it. We never worked out why. But
it was the plant half of him that did.
But then eventually we found these guys, and what they do is they steal chloroplasts, which is what the green bits in plants that helps them to turn energy into like sunlight into energy, and they can get it into their body and they can become solar powered. It's unbelievable.
So at least that species has to live somewhat near the surface, because that would do him no good down deep.
Yeah. Good point.
Useless. You don't see tulips on the very bottom of the ocean, do you? And then you can breathe for it.
Not very often. But those would be worth the price of a house. The Dutch were right.
They would. We should talk about sea slug sex, I think, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Because, if you're talking about an animal, you've got to talk about how it has sex. And it does simultaneous hermaphroditic mating.
Yes.
So Sea slug, they've got everything. They've penis,
Except the name.
vagina.
Yeah. And
So what's that? What is that, Anna?
The penis
they've
falls
got-
off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What?
Well, they've got a penis and a vagina each, and when they mate, they use both in each other. Lovely for everyone. Everyone's a winner. And then, as you say, page 2, Harry, take it away.
Page 2, the penis falls off, and they grow
Oh.
a new one.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk
It's-
about your regeneration.
Yeah.
Story had a happy ending at least.
They probably find it really gross that we reuse the same penis on loads of different people. It's probably like a hygiene thing.
Where are they watching us to know that?
Oh, they've got their podcast.
Humans use the same penis every single time. Doesn't drop off even once.
But let's be fair, they're reusing the same vagina over and over again.
Yeah, they're
Are
not
they?
having any vaginal prolapses, I don't think. Or that I read about.
Now,
That's too funny.
Wow.
Jellyfish, another thing that can regenerate, but they can
Oh.
double.
Take
Hey,
what?
what?
Sorry?
Jellyfish double. So if you cut half of a jellyfish off, it can grow into a new jellyfish.
No.
No.
Which
So
maybe,
you end up with 2.
yeah. So that's another good film, isn't it? That's for the Jurassic Park sort of spin-off. You think you've defeated something and you've doubled it.
well, especially jellyfish. That's a nasty piece of work, those guys.
Oh, you're not a fan? Not a fan of jellyfish?
Totally not a fan. I was 5 years old, and we went to we didn't go on real vacations because my parents were both working, but they went to a little beach community down the coast from LA where I grew up called Laguna Beach. And it was a lovely beach and lovely sunny afternoon, and I got stung by a jellyfish and ruined the whole day. They hurt like hell.
They can do that. Did you piss on it like you're meant to, like you're told to?
Piss on the jellyfish? You bet I did.
They said that's what they say, just as revenge. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to shit on it, but it's yeah, no, you put seawater on it.
Yeah, that's
Yes. Yeah, it's a myth, isn't it? Don't urinate on yourselves, guys. If you get stung, you just look like an idiot, and it
Yeah.
doesn't make it better.
And I think you could get arrested.
Can you get arrested for urinating on yourself? That seems unfair.
Depends, doesn't it?
It
Yeah,
depends.
it depends.
If you're at a nude
Context
beach,
is all.
no. If you're at
Yeah.
a nude beach, no. But otherwise,
If you're in Sainsbury's, yes.
Got it. Oh, sometimes I get so excited in the frozen aisle.
There's a thing. There are some lizards that can regenerate, and if you put a certain bit of human DNA into the lizard, it will stop regenerating. So we've worked out which bit of the DNA is what does the regeneration. So that's an amazing kind of find, because that really tells us where the regeneration takes place. We haven't done it the other way around.
Yeah.
Where we put the lizard stuff into humans and see if that works. But
We've just
in theory,
we've made lizards more shit and more vulnerable than they already are.
James,
I'm afraid so.
James, I've worked in show business a long time. I think we've already figured out how to make humans more lizard-like.
Hey,
Oh.
Slug. Oh, name some names then. Come on.
Just read the closing credits of any show.
You're in them.
Yeah, that's whereof I speak. But I think I was speculating a moment ago about if we did get regeneration, we would turn it into a crazy and evil business in no time, and I think that's our contribution to the world of species, is that we can turn anything into a nasty little business.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're hanging on to the secrets. The
Yeah.
jellyfish and the sea slug. They've
please,
hidden them
yeah.
somewhere.
No, somebody somewhere is slicing up sea slugs and looking at their DNA based on what James just said.
There's go on.
No, well, I was just going to say there is another thing, and this is in fact a study from about a month ago. I don't know if you guys have seen it in your reading, but scientists built a fake sea slug in the lab. Well, they built a fake electronic sea slug.
Right.
I'm so confused by this study. Basically, they built a simple brain of the kind that a sea slug would have. Okay, so it's a model of its brain, and they taught it how to get food, and they gave it an appetite and the ability to experience pleasure, and then they introduced it to hard drugs in the sea slug world, And it was, a highly rewarding but nutritionally completely empty drug pellet that this electronic
Like a Big
slug
Mac.
could blend. Exactly. And it got completely hooked. It sought it above all else. It couldn't focus on getting any food. It became malnourished, and it experienced withdrawal when it was removed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just like us. Just like you and me.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Don't
I
eat
was looking.
sea slugs, don't eat jellyfish.
And now
I
it's,
was-
it's
oh, go on.
on a street corner near you with a little cardboard box for
Yeah.
pounds, begging for money.
Yeah.
Oh, bless them.
So that's what scientists did. We did that. That's what humans did to sea slugs.
Yeah.
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 It's true. We were talking to Stephen Fry earlier on about species and people being species being named after people. I thought I'd see if there were any named after people from The Simpsons. And the best I could find, I'm afraid, was that there is a crab named after Matt Groening. It's called Albunea groeningi, and it's a type of mole crab. And honestly, the only information on the whole internet I can find is on Wikipedia. It says little is known about this group's biology. There's literally nothing about it at all.
Is that true
Wow.
of Matt as well? Is he a...
Very little is known about his biology. I've known him for 30 years, and I know almost nothing about his biology.
He doesn't take you to the bathroom with him.
Yeah.
I completely randomly read a naming thing about The Simpsons as well, not to do with animals, but to do with one of the characters. So I guess you could probably verify this, Harry, but Homer Simpson's mum is called Mona Simpson, and Mona Simpson was named after a real-life person called Mona Simpson. And Mona Simpson, the real-life person, was Steve Jobs' sister, who was married to a Simpsons writer at the time, who named the character after her. What do you think, Harry? Does that sound...
Doesn't look convinced.
No.
No, you have to take into account that at least in American television, the writers and the performers are two separate and often warring tribes. So I've been in the writers' room actually a total of one time because I wrote one script for the show, and so I was in the writers' room.
Which
Did you?
episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which episode?
I don't even know what it's called.
Right.
What?
And
How have you not? What? I mean, could someone tell us please below in the comments? What's the name of the episode?
I have no idea. I didn't name it, but I can say no more.
Do you know? Do you know the reason? Because we've been talking about octopuses, whether you should eat them. Do you know the reason why Lisa Simpson is vegetarian?
No.
No.
Do you know who made her vegetarian?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Paul McCartney, right?
That's right.
When Paul McCartney guested on the show, I think he played the saxophone with her, and it was in the 90s. And he made it the one condition. So she was going to go veggie, I think, for that episode. And he was like, the one condition, if I come on this show and she goes veggie for that episode, it can't just be an episode. She's got to stay veggie forever. And she's
Macca.
Yeah. Harry, have you actually seen The Simpsons?
Yes, I have, on occasion. But no, I mean what goes on with the writers, I really have no idea. But that sounds good. It sounds like a good story. You get Steve Jobs into it,
Yeah.
And in the next story, you get Paul McCartney into it. So as long as you can sprinkle a high-level celebrity into a Simpsons story, you got it made.
that's all it takes.
That's right.
Well, listen, we're going to have to wrap up. Harry, thank you so much for joining
Oh,
us. This is such a huge
my
honor,
pleasure.
very unexpected. And your friend John Lloyd says thank you for coming on as well.
Thanks to John for inviting me.
Yeah,
Lovely to hang with you guys.
So great to see you.
so wonderful to see.
I hope we can help Comic Relief a little bit.
Yeah, we definitely have. The money's gone up since you've been on by a very nice amount. So thank you for that. And everyone else who's watching, stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes with the wonderful Dr. Maggie Adaran Pocock. See you in a couple of minutes.
Hello, everybody. That was fun, wasn't it? Well, now you have to pay. Please go to comicrelief.com/fish and give us all of your money so that it can be spent on fabulous causes around the world. There are many more videos where these came from, so bring all of your money and give it to us. Link is below. Click on the link.